Hello, I'm Matt, and I think I'm a psychic medium. I've always been interested in the paranormal and the spooky, and although I've been open to it, I've also tried to err on the skeptical side. After all, I didn't think I had any experiences, and I certainly never thought it would have any impact on my life. But that was then. Now I want to explore where this gift will take me. In my podcast, I'll be exploring the challenges of discovering a spiritual gift, the long path of development, and how this new page of my life is affecting relationships with friends, family, and myself. So I invite you to join me as I explore my psychic and spiritual journey, as my inner skeptic and inner medium go head to head in The Psychic Explorer. Hello, you lovely lot. Thank you so much for coming back to me. Well, I wasn't planning on taking a break so early on just out of 5 episodes. However, that last episode was heavy. It stirred up a lot of emotions within me. Revisiting those memories from my childhood, it took me straight back there and it really flattened my mood. Couple that with 2 very poor readings that I had done for some friends, I felt really embarrassed because I'd just put this podcast episode out there saying I was supposed to be good at this and that I had finally found my confidence. And the next 2 readings that I did for people, I felt like I fell flat on my face and I was just mortified. So my confidence over the past month or 2 have taken quite the knocking. And I just needed to sit with the lessons that I learned from those poor readings and just thinking about how those emotions from my childhood impact on and relate to me today. So if you're listening to this podcast live as it goes out, I do apologize for the break. But if you are listening to this in the future, then you will not have noticed a single thing. But just trust me, there's been a bit of a break. But I am back, and what an episode to come back on. I'm really excited to share this one with you because I've got my first guest. And whenever I listen to a podcast and they have their first guest, I always think it's a bit of a milestone. It can either upset the dynamics or it can really add to the experience. And I'm really hoping that you are going to find that this conversation today with my friend Shelly, it's really going to add to the depth of the topics that I've been talking about so far in these episodes. Shelly Shearing is a fantastic tarot card reader. She has her own YouTube channel, and you can find her at Soul-Full Tarot. That's Soulful Tarot. I will put all of the links in the episode notes. But this conversation explores how she came to the subject, and I found it really interesting because no matter how you come to this subject, to this spirituality, to mediumship, to tarot cards, to this spooky world, we all have similar questions and thoughts about it. And I really hope you enjoy this conversation. Here's Shelly talking to me about her amazing experiences with tarot. Enjoy. Hello, Shelly. Thank you so much for joining me today, Shelly. So we've got Shelly Shearing here from Soulful Tarot. She's a friend of mine from my circle that I go to. Shelly, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Matt, and thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. I'm truly honoured.
No, bless you. Thank you. I wanted to interview someone for quite a while, but I wanted to wait until it was someone who I trusted in what they do, but also clicked with. And I think that in Circle, we've read for each other a few times now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think each time I've read for you, it's been I thought it's been quite nice. Every time you read for me, it's been really impactful. And I know that you have started your YouTube channel. When did you start that?
July, actually, early July. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how is it going?
Oh my gosh, I am absolutely blown away with how it's going, because I think the one thing it's really important to remember is you can get so caught up in, oh my gosh, but there's thousands of tarot readers or the similar channels on there. And yes, there are. However, I think the reason that you're doing it is far more important than that. And that has to be forefront. So for me, it was simply because I cannot put the tarot cards down. I have to read. I read every day for myself, or at least I'm shuffling the cards. And what that did for me was it gave me that opening, if you like, to read for others without any expectation.
How did you start? Because for me, you know my story. It was all came about pretty unexpected. What made you pick up a deck of tarot cards?
Perfectly honestly, I have no idea. It literally was a bolt from the blue. And I now look back and think it was a snag, what I call a snag. So when something catches our attention, and I think from memory, I'd just seen the advert for our circle.
Yep.
And then literally a few weeks later, I saw an advert for a tarot course run locally, literally up the road by a lady called Claire Leeks. She's an excellent teacher. She teaches all sorts, but she was running a one-to-one tarot course also. And I thought, wow, I've never seen, because for me to learn, I find it far easier to be in front of somebody rather than just me online. Also, that requires a lot of discipline. And so I literally just messaged her and said, oh, when is this running? So excited. I just got this burst of energy. And she messaged back and said, well, it's on this date and that date. And I said, oh, that's a shame. If you run another one, because I can't make those dates, if you run another one, could you let me know? And then she messaged me back and said, well, when are you available? Because at first I thought, oh, never mind. I'll just say, okay, thanks. Then I thought, no, I'll mention that I can't make those dates. And there was something in me saying, push it, Shelley, push it. And so looking back, that's literally how it happened. She then tailored the course around me and one other lady. We were so lucky.
Amazing. And I find that in this area, in this field, in life actually, if things are meant to happen, you are pushed towards it, and some doors just open up. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So you started doing tarot cards by this Claire Leaks, as you said a moment ago. Was that just a reading, or was that an actual her teaching you how to do it?
It was literally Claire sitting in front of us. It was a full day. It was 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. in her summer house in her garden, showing us how to interpret the cards. And what I'll say from that with tarot is a little bit like passing your driving test. Yes, you've got the certificate to say you can drive. However, you don't gain that experience and your interpretation on the road, etc., and your vision until you start to do it. And that's exactly the same for tarot. You then interpret the cards differently depending on what you're feeling, what position they're in. It's amazing.
This is going to be one of my questions to you, actually, because I love oracle cards. I love reading them. I love how they guide you. I love how they are able to inspire you to give a really in-depth psychic reading, and also open up to mediumship as well. But for me, the idea of learning what each and every card means, because there's like 70 something cards in a deck of tarot.
Correct. Yeah.
That terrifies me. It's like, and also in my mind, that is too rigid. That's like, well, how can that mean that if it's... Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's just so random. So how much is it down to chance? But then your readings are always so spot on. So,
well, that's just down to experience, practice, feeling, trusting your intuition. That's really, really important. So very much so that we're taught in Circle is to say what you feel, and it's exactly the same for the cards. And so, for instance, the magician can mean manifestation. It can mean having all the tools in your toolbox to do exactly and reach your goals. When it's paired with another card, such as the Seven of Swords, which is deceit, that magician turns into somebody who can be quite manipulative because they have all the tools. They know exactly how to use them. So that's where the experience comes. practicing with the different spreads as well. A lot of tarot readers don't use spreads. They freestyle, if you like. I do both. I can do both. I prefer it a bit more structured if somebody wants a personal reading. But for myself, I'll throw some cards and think, oh, okay.
What is a spread?
Okay, so a spread is a structured reading. So therefore it can be 3 or 4 cards. It can be 10 cards. I've even seen spreads that are like 70 cards where you use the entire deck.
Oh my God.
For me, that's like, whoa, a bit too much. I like to do the Celtic Cross, which is a 10-card spread, and that will cover, each position covers a different subject. So past, present, future, what's on your mind, what you don't see coming, and then you go up the staff to different, and then finally you have an outcome. But what's very important about tarot is it's an energy reading. It's not especially what you should live your life by. It's literally, if you follow this path, then this is the possibility. You still have free will.
How do you use the cards? Do you think, because you used the word intuition earlier on, I'm still exploring what I do and not what I do and don't believe, that's not quite right, but what I feel comfortable with and what I don't feel comfortable with. When people talk about angels and things like that, still for me that's a little bit.
I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
It's just a bit awkward. It's like, oh. Do you find that these cards are divinely chosen? Is it pure chance? Because, like I say, your readings, the readings that you've done for me are all spot on. You do, every week you go through the Zodiac and you do 12 readings and you release them on your YouTube channel. And for me, Leo is always spot on. It's always like, yeah, Shelly's got that bang on. And even when I think, not quite right, a couple of days later, something will happen. I think, oh, yeah, that's what Shelly said, actually. So how was your belief? How do you think it works?
Gosh, that's a question and a half. Now, this is going to sound a bit woo-woo.
Go for it.
But I just want to say, up until October the year before last, October 2022, was it? 2023, sorry. I did none of this. I did not, I didn't follow anybody spiritually. I didn't meditate. My life has changed since then. And so I do feel I'm meant to do this. I feel divinely guided. And I know that sounds a bit, for some people, who does she think she is? And so I don't often say that because, I try and be as realistic as possible with it because I want so many people to follow the same path, if you like. Not necessarily just tarot, but just start off with baby steps. And you know what? If you don't want to tell people about it, don't. But then you'll find what you'll do is you'll then start to connect with people in a circle subconsciously that actually do follow that path. And then you open up and then the world's your oyster. Did that answer the question? I'm actually lost now what the original question was.
It's interesting because my next question was going to be about how things have changed. But when it comes to the actual practicalities of the tarot, is your belief that it's chance, that something, spirit or whatever is choosing a card? Is it intuition that you stop on a certain card? I mean, I guess it's impossible to know, isn't it? But
it's literally follow and trust how you feel. And that's what it comes down to. And I think that's what it comes down to in any spiritual path, is trust how you feel and don't be afraid to say it. Now, obviously, there's some things in tarot, I'll be honest with you, and I struggle in the circle too to be blatantly honest and to try and find the words. However, what does that person want? Do they, there's nothing terrible that I will ever say in a tarot. I'll be, that's not my what do you call it, my vision. So for me, when somebody comes for a reading, it's got to be helpful, it's got to be hopeful, and it's got to be healing. And in between, whatever comes, we will find a healing message from it, a helpful message or a hopeful message. I hope that makes sense.
And I can attest to that because in my private reading, you gave me the Tower card and the Hangman. So
Well, the hangman is just about delays and looking at things from a different perspective. The tower, however, yes, it is. A lot of people are like, oh, the tower card. Now, when I see the tower card, I get excited and I'm like, oh, big change coming. And the reason the tower comes is because the change has to be done, because the foundations are often of whatever's going on are slowly crumbling. So we need to rebuild that again in a positive manner. And yes, it can be difficult, but we all learn from it.
And this is my personal philosophy on life: is we are all here to learn lessons. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so spot on. Do you mind me asking you a slightly personal question about your ability, your readings?
No, not at all. Go for it.
I know that in Circle, our Circle leader, Nicola, a couple of months ago said that you were able to bring through a link from Spirit for the first time. So my understanding from you from that is that you obviously started with tarot and the spiritual stuff sort of came later, whereas with me, it's in the reverse.
Yeah.
How do you use, or rather, do you use, because I know you use a variety of cards. You're not just tarot, I think you use oracle cards as well.
Yes, I do, yeah.
How do you use tarot or oracle cards to help you in your mediumship? Do you?
That's really interesting because how we've been taught, definitely by Nicola, is that whatever your strength is how you will receive the messages. That's from my interpretation. And I will often get a card in my head. So if somebody is, for instance, feeling very down, I might get the, or very defensive, I might get the Seven of Wands in my head. I see the card and then I'm able to interpret. However, that is changing slightly just recently. I'm actually able to put that card to one side and say to them, that's really kind of you, thank you very much, but I'm going to try and do it myself. But I know it's there as a backup, and that's how I'm developing in that role. I find the mediumship absolutely fascinating, and it's definitely improved my tarot reading. I'm not sure my tarot reading has improved my mediumship, though, if that makes sense.
Yes. Is it a case of the chicken and the egg? Like,
yeah, definitely for me. Yeah. So I would rather not have the card with the mediumship because I feel like they're helping me. However, if that works, it works, and I shouldn't be so tough on myself.
And that, Shelley, is something, as you know, I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with. It's that self-belief. It's that, oh God, am I going crazy? The episodes that I've done on my podcast so far, I'm very conscious that they have focused on that quite a lot, the doubt, or rather the self-doubt. And I'm now coming to a stage in my development where I'm more positive about it. I'm actually able to speak to people about it, friends and family about it. And it's almost like coming out all over again. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm a bit psychic. How have your friends and family received this? Because you said a minute ago that this has been all very new to you. So how have they adapted to the new Shelley? Or is there a new Shelley?
Oh, there's definitely a new Shelley. Oh, 100%. The old Shelley is quite fiery, very defensive all the time, but chip on the shoulder. How have they reacted? I was blown away, be honest with you. My daughter is incredibly open to it. In fact, every Wednesday before she started her new job, she'd be at home after I got back from the development circle, and she would be, oh, Mum, go on, what happened? What happened tonight? And she can't wait. And she's, Mum, can you throw me some cards? I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Her friends are really open to it. My partner, incredibly supportive of it. I'm not sure he's 100%, but he's a kind of like, well, there's got to be something. But initially, I've done a range of different things, side hustles. I've sold wax warmers. I still do CBD oil, as well as working. And I've always had big Facebook groups for those. And I ummed and ahed and I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this out there? But in a way that people don't think, oh, here she goes again. Now she's on this journey. And so I did it very, very reluctantly. I made the group very private, and it's still private. So I think I had the problem more than other people, to be honest with you, when I look back.
Yeah, same.
And there's still people like my work colleagues that are only just starting to realize this is what I'm doing. And I make a bit of a joke of it. I'm like, yep, here comes the witch, you know. So I say it before they do. So yeah, I was blown away by the support that I have. And let's face it, there's only people within your tribe, if you like, that you need to connect with anyway. That's how I feel.
It's true. I'm slowly coming around to the idea that actually people who need it, or rather the people who will be open to it, are the people you will feel comfortable telling. And if you don't feel like you want to, you don't have to. It's
Exactly.
not something you have to shout from the rooftops. That's so interesting because that's almost exactly the same as me, where I'm like, oh, the issue is me. It's not them. The issue is how I perceive what we're doing
Yeah.
and the stereotypes that I put on myself and therefore put on to other people. Has it made you? You said you were quite uptight before this. How has it changed your philosophy of life? How has it changed the way that you
Um,
live your life?
how I live my life hasn't changed it massively. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm still Shelley. I'm still a mum. I'm still love pottering around the house and doing my bits and pieces. You won't find me without a set of AirPods in, listening to some kind of spiritual development thing that's going on. I listen to tarot reading daily, but I still manage to be Shelley and be me and go out and have a glass of wine and have some fun and go on holiday. What was the initial thing you said? There was a big point to that I was going to mention.
Oh
I've
God, what
forgotten.
did I ask? I'll
I've
cut this
forgotten.
bit out.
How does that? Yeah. So, with the chip on the shoulder and things like that. So, for me, it was the philosophy of life. For me now, I see that there is life after death. Now, I know not everybody agrees with that, and that's not something that I push on anybody. But there can't not be. And that for me, I've lost every single member of my family, apart from my uncle, in a very quite short space of time. And I dealt with that. And it almost like a robot in the end, because I was like, oh, here we go again. I know that sounds really awful, but in the end, that's how I had to react. I had nothing left. And then it all bottled up. And the tarot has allowed that to come out, because often I'll do a reading. I did a reading a couple of weeks ago on my channel for Capricorn, I think it was. And I ended up very, very close to tears because I actually thought that was for me. It was like a relief. It was a message for me to release as well. So that's how it's changed me in that respect. Practically day to day, not much.
But just the way you see life in inverted commas and this physical world and the next, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also, that there is more to life. There is a reason behind everything. There's a reason for everything, and that's key for me.
Yeah, I've always felt that things are meant to happen, or at least if they do, yeah, things are meant to happen, and that things don't happen without a benefit coming from it, even if it's something awful, like my mum dying, something awful, but it sparked this within me. It literally, the minute that she died, this opened up within me.
Wow.
And so I think you're absolutely right. Things do happen, and it's how you go forward with that and how you live your life from that point. I'm not sure the point I'm trying to make there, but I can cut that bit out.
Healing as well. I think this journey is also very reflective. You can't do it without a mirror.
Mm. Oh, that hits, especially with my last episode. Yes, definitely, very much so. Yeah, it's my last episode about the bullying from my childhood. It took me only. I mean, I recorded that over a month ago, and I've not touched the recording since because I've just been sitting with it, and it brought me down quite a bit. I didn't want to sort of, it brought all those feelings back to the surface. Really quite painful to be able to see that and to be able to recognize all that. It's allowed me to look at other aspects of my life and recognize actually this is why I'm like that, or this is why I do this. So that self-analysis and reflection is important. I know you've only been doing tarot for a little while. I say a little while. I mean, just over a year now. Have you noticed your tarot has changed since you first started?
Yeah, massively. It's definitely more in depth. I trust myself more, and that just comes with confidence when you get feedback too. So when I first started, I just read for family and friends because I was so scared of doing it for anybody else and getting it wrong. And that's where my starting the YouTube channel really helped also. Yes, it was very, oh my gosh, I'm really putting myself out there now. But the other side to there being hundreds of thousands of other tarot readers, I was a small fish in the big sea, so therefore I kept concentrating on that side thinking, well, you know what, if it's rubbish, nobody will subscribe. So what am I worried about?
Yeah. It's terrifying putting yourself out there, isn't it? It really is, because it's like, again, you're coming out to the world. It's like, oh.
Yeah. But in a way, I found it easier to do the YouTube channel because unless you told your friends and family, they don't know you do YouTube. It's the people that don't know you. And I found that more easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost a sense of anonymity. Just put yourself out there and no one knowing who you are.
Judgment attached.
Judgment attached. Oh, that judgment. It's a bitch. How did you get to a stage where you had the confidence to do that? Is it because you thought, well, no one knows me, I'm just going to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. It took me more time to understand the technical side of it. And to be honest with you, by the time I'd actually reached and learned that side, I thought, well, I've not, excuse me, I've not done all this for nothing. I'm going for it now because that was so stressful.
Yeah.
Doing the video is going to be the fun bit. And so it really put it into perspective for me because I'm a bit of a technophobe. I'm 54. I'm not particularly great. And I've encouraged other people to do it since because I say, if I can do it, you so can do it.
Yeah. You will know more than others. We have tried this recording 2 or 3 times, and each time it's just not happened. And I'm fingers crossed that this actually does work, because if it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. But yeah, the technical side of it alone is boggling, isn't it?
That it put it into perspective for me. I think that, again, what we're saying is, we're all here to learn lessons. So the lesson there is, okay, we'll teach you to do this side. The main content, however, is what you can do. This is your talent. This is the easy bit. And so it really, yeah.
What great advice from lovely Shelly. If you want to reach out to her, you can find her on YouTube at Soul-Full Tarot. You can also find her on Facebook under the same name. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook and Threads at the.psychic.explorer. Pop me a message. I would love for you to say hello. For the moment though, let's get back to talking tarot with Shelly Shearing. When did you know you were good enough?
Gosh, I didn't. I had no indication. I just thought, what have I got to lose? I think it was learning about the YouTube channel made everything else feel a lot easier. Again, going back to that, I know I've just mentioned it, but for some reason that put everything into perspective for me. Doing readings for other people and then getting feedback was fabulous. I never ever asked for feedback. Well, no, I'll correct myself there. I would say to them, I would love to know if this resonates for you, but don't feel pressured to answer me, because what I don't want them to do is to be nice, like in circle, like what Nicola says. Don't tell them, don't say that's correct if it isn't. Don't feed them. You need to be brutal. And so I had a couple of, I want to say, within some personal, with some family member readings where things actually happened that I even dreamt about that connected to.
Wow.
So that for me really was a big stepping stone for me to have a bit more self belief.
Do you find reading for friends and family is harder than reading for strangers because you know them?
Much easier to read for a stranger than it is a friend or a family because A, you know the background for friends and family. What I do tend to say is this is what I know before I start the reading. Excuse me. Also, friends and family like to put their spin on it, and that frustrates me sometimes because they'll say, "Oh no, that's not that, that's that," and I'm like, uh, "That's not what I'm feeling." But go ahead, it's your reading. I don't say
Yeah.
that. I will just sit back and think. It does frustrate me. So I do find it much easier to read for people I know nothing about.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? I found the people who I have fallen flat on my face with are friends. And I find it so frustrating because in my head, I'm thinking, well, surely these are the people that it should be spot on for because not that I know them. Yes, I know them, but I feel comfortable with them. I feel comfortable enough to do this with them. But actually, it's the strangers, it's the people on Zoom, it's the people on in Circle who you don't have a lot of knowledge about their personal life about. That's where it really flies. It's really interesting, isn't it, how that works?
Definitely.
Do you feel that you need to be specially trained on tarot cards in order to use them?
I After I finished my one-to-one course with Claire, I then went on and downloaded an online course because it's really good to get as much perspective on the cards as possible. And I did that. Um, some people can just, I have a lady that I read for quite regularly. She just seems to know the cards already. So I've said to her, look, and we did. I just started to teach her. Just time constraints, we haven't continued it, but I'm definitely open to it because I can see it in her. So no, anybody can do it. Same as our development. We're all psychic to a certain degree. We just have to develop it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've come away from is that you don't have to be special in inverted commas to be able to do this. In my mind, before this opened up to me, I'd always said to my mum, "Oh, I'd love to have that. I'd love to do that. I'd love to be able to do that." But I thought it was something, you know, putting someone on a pedestal, like, "Oh, wow, they can do it," but actually, we can all do it. It's
It's
within all of us.
special.
It's just
Yeah,
some people it's stronger than
exactly.
others, and some people it becomes easier than others.
What's that saying? We are all psychic, but we're not all mediums.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, interesting. That's apparently that's a bone of contention within the industry. Apparently, some people like that, some people don't. I personally, I think we all have it. It's just whether or not we are open to it, and I think that's been my biggest issue to it is that I know it's there, but I need a certificate from the University of Mystics and Psychics to tell me that I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sitting with me this morning, Shelley.
Been lovely. We should do this anyway.
Oh,
So
I'll be well. I would love. I was thinking the other day. I thought, should I ask Shelley if I should do a reading for her? Because I know I read for you in Circle a few weeks ago.
I'd love that.
So I might, if you're happy, if you're open to that, I might just sit another time and record a reading for you. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I really appreciated it. One final question. What would you say is your favourite and your least favourite tarot cards?
Oh, gosh. Okay. That's a really tough question because again, it depends on, it goes from week, sometimes I'll pull a card and think, oh no, not that one. Um, I find let me think, the Hierophant is a tricky card. It's not my
The
least
what?
favorite. It's the Hierophant. So the
Right.
Hierophant is head of the church, but it comes with so many meanings, so many
Okay.
messages. It can mean it's about high levels of commitment, which can equal divorce, which can equal marriage, which can equal guru energy, and I look at that and think, oh, crikey, here we go. Which one is it? And that's when I'll clarify it. My most favourite, obviously the one that I love to see in every single reading, is the sun. It's the major arcana. And I just feel like I just want to put my face up to the sun when I feel it, and like the vitality oozes into you, and that's how you get that feeling with your readings. And I'm sure you do the same. You just tap into it. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't have a least favourite. I have one that contains a lot of messages that will give me a bit of a hard time.
The Pandora's box of the tarot world.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Shelly. Where can people find you, and what are your socials and all that?
Okay, so I do have my YouTube channel, which is Soulful Tarot, which is soul-full tarot. And then I've got a Facebook group called exactly the same, and that's it. I'm not interested in TikTok. I have to admit, people have asked me to do TikTok. It's not my bag. I don't like the community there, I'll be honest with you. It seems very brutal, especially for this kind of work. So I'm still shielding myself a little bit. I think you have to, for your own self-worth.
Yeah, no, same. I listen to and I attend online circles by Matthew Tao and Dana Willey, some American mediums and teachers. And they're always talking about TikTok, and it terrifies me. I've never been on it.
I agree.
I have this almost visceral reaction to the idea of being on it, because it just seems... when people do it, great. To me, it just seems a little bit cheap, and it seems a little bit, it just doesn't sit quite right with me.
100%. And when I found out that you can actually buy your audience, I was like, that's not for me.
Yeah, no. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I've released this podcast into the world, and for the first month of doing it, I found myself just constantly looking at my stats, thinking, how many people are listening to it? How many people listen to it? And I've really had to train myself to not do that, and think, you know what? If the right people are going to get it, then it's going to reach the right people.
Exactly. And numbers are irrelevant. What do they say? It's quality, not quantity.
Well, I'm not sure we've got there yet, but...
You're amazing, Matt. Matt, your voice is so made for podcasts. That's what I'll say.
You.
Yeah,
well, that's very
100%.
kind of you. I might cut that bit out, but thank you. Thank you, Shelly. Look, happy Christmas.
And to you too.
I know, it's not far away. So
I'm so excited. I love Christmas. I love it.
I'm finding this one a bit weird. I'm finding it a bit... the house is decorated beautifully. We live in a little Victorian cottage, and we have decorated it very Victorian, which is our style anyway. But we're going away in the new year as well, so I'm looking forward to that more, I think. For years, we've said, right, we're self-employed, we've got to make the most of this, so let's go away for a month in January or February. And this year we're doing it. We'll be in Bangkok for New Year's Eve, and then just going to bum around Thailand and Cambodia for a month. So,
oh my gosh, hats off to you, Matt.
Very fortunate position to be able to do it, but I'm looking forward to, because I want to record an episode while I'm in the grounds of Angkor Wat.
Where's that? I'm a bit naive for that.
But you know what's Tomb Raider? Like if I say Tomb Raider, the big temple in the jungle.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be there for 3 days. So I'd like to record an episode there just to see what I can film. Probably lots of tourists on their bikes. But...
How does your partner but is he on board with your spirituality, or is it a little bit like my partner? It's like, yeah, I love you, I'll support you. There's got to be something, but I'm not that interested.
It's interesting because I've said on the podcast before, like, he's had experiences, but very quick to sort of put them down and just sort of dismiss them. With this, I think the biggest thing with my partner is that he's very conscious that this has all come from grief. This is all sparked from the death of my mum. And this is the reason why I've been so skeptical about it as well, because I'm very aware of that. Likewise, so is he. So I think he worries that I'm doing this as a coping mechanism. and that one day I'm going to just break down into a glob of goo on the floor and not be able to cope. I really enjoy watching Tyler Henry on Netflix, his live things. He's so talented. He doesn't read how I read at all.
Doesn't he? He channels it through drawing. And
You know what? I've tried that. I have tried that, and actually, it's interesting. I did it on a one of the girls in Circle, and it does work. It does help you channel. And I was thinking, why am I doing this? And as I was doodling, I realized I was doodling seagulls. And I thought, as we focus on color and objects in Circle, I thought, oh, well, why am I doodling seagulls? So I just started to talk about that and let that inspire me. And actually, that took me to a really interesting place with her. But he poo-poos it quite a bit. He's like, yeah, but that's so generic. You could say it to anyone. And it's like, yeah, but it's...
And for the tarot?
I've got my cards all here wrapped up in my mum's scarves. So I've got loads of oracle cards and tarot cards. And when I go to do a reading with someone, I take along these bundles of cards and I don't know what they are. I forget which deck is in which scarf. But I say to them, right, you choose whatever one calls to you. You choose.
I do the same.
Yeah. But he doesn't, I think for him, he's too analytical. He's where I was 2 years ago. And that's fine. Is
he an air sign by any chance?
Cancer.
Oh, he's a water sign.
Oh, is that water?
Yeah, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio.
Because I'm Leo, so
you're Leo.
That might explain a few things.
Fire and water. That's not too bad. You should dampen each other down. You should it's a nice combo.
We do equal each other, right? Yeah. Whereas I go sort of like sky high, he sort of just brings me down to reality a bit more, and where he's can be a little bit pessimistic, I'm more optimistic.
Lovely combination. Actually, just quickly before we go, so Claire, who taught me tarot, has just been in touch with me again, saying, Shelley, will you do an astrology course with me? And I'm like, oh no, oh my gosh, that's a massive black hole. I'm like, oh no. Anyway, she's taught me about your sun, your moon, your rising signs, and that's now starting to also come into my readings. I'm not going to use them in my readings, but it's in the background. So yeah, I'm now dipping my toe in astrology as well.
It's such a huge subject, isn't it?
And what I don't want to do, because the biggest comments I get on my channel is, we love your readings because they're so simple. So when I listen to a reader and they start off saying, well, Mercury's in Capricorn and Pluto's up your arse, I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I just want to read tarot.
Yeah.
So I said to Claire, I don't want to get into that side of it. I like it for my knowledge, but it's very interesting to find what your sun, your moon, and your rising is. My sun is Pisces. That's what I was born under. Your moon is how your emotions are, and I'm Pisces again. And my rising is Gemini, so very chatty, very sociable, but can be a bit too much. So it'd be interesting you find out what yours are. Do you know what they are?
I have no idea. No. How would you find that out?
So what you do is, all you need to know is your birth date, but the time you were born as well. Now, my uncle vaguely remembers. I don't think it's on your birth certificate. It might be. I can't find mine. If you can just Google it, and they'll give you a link. There's like a something calculator. I'll send you the link. And you put in the date of birth, where you're born, the time, and it'll bring up your moon and your rising, and obviously your sun sign is Leo. So, and that can actually make you think, oh wow, now I understand why I'm a bit of Gemini. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do wonder, because there's definitely something in it, because there's several Leos in my family, or there were several Leos in my family. Me, my auntie, my mum, my nan, my mother-in-law, all Leos, and all share fairly similar traits, but there's big differences between us as well. Now, you could say, well, that's just everyone's got a different personality, but these threads do tend to reverberate, don't they?
My daughter's a Leo, my ex-husband's a Leo, and my middle son is a Leo. So we've got a hell of a lot of Leo.
it made for a very expensive August.
Yeah, I had it at 11, 21 and 31.
It's crazy, isn't
So
it? But
interesting.
Shelley, thank you so
Send,
much.
when you find out your
Mm.
when you find out your time of birth and your date of birth, and send it to me, and I'll do it for you.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll have a look through it. It's here somewhere within the masses of boxes somewhere.
All right.
And I'll do, if you're happy for me to do you a reading.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. Have a lovely Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much for doing this to me, Shelley. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you soon, all right?
All right. Take care, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It was so good to speak with Shelley this morning. We had tried to record that 2 or 3 times, but for some reason the technology just did not want to work. I'm glad that we were finally able to get that done this morning. I think for me, the takeaway phrase of that conversation was Pluto up your ass. I never thought I'd get to hear Shelley say that. So I very much enjoyed speaking to Shelley and re-listening to that. I hope you found that conversation interesting. And I would like to once again just say a massive thank you to Shelley for agreeing to come on to my podcast, being my very first guest. Hopefully not my last one though. But if you want a reading from Shelley, a tarot card reading, or if you want to see how she reads her cards, go over to her YouTube channel, and that is Soulful Tarot. That is Soul-FULL Tarot. And you can also find her on Facebook. If you join the private group, Shelley does go live every now and then, and you can watch her do a live tarot card reading. It's really interesting. Oh, I'm just so glad we did that, because we spoke about everything from tarot card readings to holidays and zodiac signs. It gives me such a big smile. And what a way to end this year. It's been a really up and down one for me, as you well and truly know. But I'm really glad that I'm going to be ending it on a high. I'm really glad that I was able to speak with Shelley, and we were able to get this wrapped up in time for the new year. As you'll have heard me say during that conversation, I will be away for most of January. Very lucky. I'm very aware of how lucky I am to be able to travel. But it does mean that I may not be able to upload an episode for a while. I will try and record something while we are visiting Angkor Wat. Hopefully I can find a quiet corner away from tourists and just soak up the atmosphere. And I'd really like to try and share that with you if I can. But I will be depending on internet, and I will be in Southeast Asia, which should be okay, but I can't promise anything, so no promises. And all that leaves me to say to you guys is thank you if you have been listening from the beginning. I know it's only a small audience, but thank you so much. It really warms my heart to know that you guys are out there. I want to wish you all a very happy festive season and a very happy new year. I'll be updating my Instagram, and that's where you can reach out to me. Happy to hear from you, happy to answer any questions. And again, happy new year. Take care, guys. Bye.